Hey, everybody, this is Liz coming to you again today with Bryan Connor, and he's going to tell us where he's from and the locations that he currently has, which every time we talk seems to be more. And then we will go from there and we'll catch you up on his life and what he's doing.
Yeah, so I am Bryan Connor from Augusta, Georgia. I believe thank you. We are location number 24 was our first location in Augusta, Georgia. Then we have North Augusta, South Carolina. It's in its third year, and then Aiken, South Carolina, and we just started that this year.
Fantastic. All right. So, where are we at in growth for both of those? And do you have GMs for both of those locations, or kind of what's the dynamic there with you and Jeremy now?
Yeah, so the original location, it's been 5 years inside of Augusta, and that location originally started with my business Fine Lines Landscaping back in 2012. So that was the existing one that we converted. That one, Jeremy he's my general manager, but he's also my partner and operations manager. And so that location, did you want to know the growth?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this year we'll do 1.6 million. When we joined Augusta, when I first met Mike, we had just done a little over 400,000. So that location's grown tremendously.
Hmm.
Um, North Augusta, big swings this year with McKeat as the GM. That's his third season at that location, and he'll do 500,000 this year. He'll hit a record month this year I'm sorry, record month for July. He'll hit 70,000. So,
Incredible.
yep. And then Matthew, which is Jeremy's brother, he started Aiken from scratch this year, and he'll do about 300 to 350,000.
Fantastic. And what is the projection for you? Like, do you have an idea of what you're wanting to do for the future for locations? Just a long-term vision?
Yeah. Uh, projected wise, we're going to open up as many as we possibly can. But to give you a more definitive on that, within the next 36 months, we'll have our first full region. And so I'll
Got it.
tell you a little bit about for those that aren't in Augusta what that means specifically. The Augusta location is basically three territories, three to four, and so we'll break that one up and hire general managers so that sorry, the bug in my eye. So that we can hire from within. We've got general managers on deck waiting, and then so Jeremy can reasonably manage those 5 to 6 team members in those locations. So that'll be region number one. Once that's fully functioning, optimized, and doing what we want it to do, we'll start region two. Um, but uh, but I know I think it was last year around Christmas time, or maybe it was 2 years ago. You had asked me that question, and I used to have a. It's funny. I've got the remnants. I found it. Of
Amazing.
let me see here. I thought I tore the page, and I did, but there was something on the other side. And so
Wow.
I used to have it. What was that? Out to 2032, I think. Yeah, there's a page ripped out in here. So. I used to have it very dialed in. I do know that this is my calling. God called me to do this, so I feel a little bit more comfortable because I have let go instead of the every year. Like I had a beginning of the year cash reserve, end of the year cash add. This whole structure. But I know this is my calling. I know this is what I'm meant to do at least for the next 10 to 15 years. And I believe we'll end up having about three regions, to
Fantastic.
answer your question. Yep.
So, in each region, what would the goal be for locations? Would you be trying to put three, six? Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah. So it'd probably be a range of 5 to 7. Some
Okay.
regions might have five, some regions might have seven. But yeah, I think all in all, it'd be about 20 total.
Okay, that makes sense. And I know from what I've heard from you that it seems like you have quite a roster of team members that want to be GMs when so many other locations struggle to find a GM, period, and let alone find one, but to keep one. What do you think the reason for your success has been?
I believe, as far as from what I know, I've been in from other folks. We've been doing the same thing with the same people for the longest. So we've been in Augusta for this is our fifth year, and then we had a business before that. Um, Really, none of that matters except for Jeremy. That's the only person, Jeremy and Matthew, who came
Mm-hmm.
over from Fine Lines. Um, but we've been doing simple services 4 or 5 years with Augusta. I've been following the systems because we were able to pay more that first year of implementing P for P. We were then able to uh, require more and pour into our team and not and hold a certain standard. And that began to grow our culture, I think.
But so many times the team does, even a GM doesn't understand P for P well. And so have you had specific training or go over it until so some of those that struggle with it are okay with P for P?
Yeah, we go over it a lot, and then if we ever hear that somebody doesn't understand it, we'll have it in a meeting. We'll do a one-on-one. Um, we really want them to know we do a pretty good job on our onboarding, explaining P for P. With the P for P documents, the interview process has an explanation as well.
Okay.
So we do try to really get that across.
So they have an idea of what they're coming into before they're hired.
They do, yeah. We break it down something very simple. I've got on the left hand, I got a dry erase board. It's about this big, a little mini one that I've already done for the P for P explanation. So I just
Mm-hmm.
pull it out and I say, hey, for just like any other job, that has an hourly wage, except this is the lowest amount you can get paid, and this is the example at 40 hours at 16 an hour over here that you'll clock in. And then over here is P for P. And then I say your production rate, is X amount. Ours is $35. And you collect budgeted hours, which are just the times that are budgeted on the properties. You add them up at the end of the day, you'll get 6 budgeted hours. You do that for 5 days, that's 30. Multiplied by 35 is what is that? 900, 1,050?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so I say you get the bigger number. And then I explain to them that the difference is the bonus dollars. So I don't know if a lot of them understand it off the bat,
Yep.
but they understand the bigger number. So they're like, okay, that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. Yeah, I've seen workers before that they'll make up to 27 or more per hour and they actually quit because they don't understand it and they think that the company's ripping people off. It's beyond my comprehension that they would think that when they're making $18 an hour base pay. But it's just a different concept for so many of them. So you have a few guys in the wings that are wanting to be GMs, right?
I do. Yeah, I've got Jordan. He's been here 3 years. I've got Chris. I believe he's been here 2 years. I've got Robert. This is his second season. I've got Dylan. This is his second season. He's actually in North Augusta.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, we've got four guys that are. Um, there might be more that are interested. Those are the four guys that I've identified as they're willing and able, and
Hmm.
they're interested. So
But what is it that's enticing them? Like, what do they see the GMs have or do that they would want that?
uh I would say this a big thing for them is the salary. Going from unpredictable seasonal swings in their
Hmm.
pay to that stability of the salary.
Hmm.
Uh, Also, the uh, and the only ones that really have seen it is the Augusta location because it's been in profit mode. North
Okay.
Augusta
Hmm.
just got into profit mode the second week of July, so it's just happened. Hoping they get a good profit share. They've seen it with Jeremy,
Hmm.
but they haven't seen it yet with one of their peers become a GM. So I don't think it's really even that. Which is great because the GMs they have a potential of earning 35% of distributable cash. So that's really the big
Wow.
that's the big motivator. But I don't even know if it's that really. I think a lot of these guys like lawn care and they see that as the next step. And I do an okay job at bugging them enough about the mission, about what our direct mission is here. We've got a saying. It's called "Mo Money, Mo Dreams,"
Hmm.
So the first part we can check off the box in 2 weeks after you're
Yes.
not being trained. You can make the most amount of money mowing grass pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Our guys in Augusta are making $30 an hour.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome when, comparably $15 an hour is the average everywhere else.
Right.
And so that's huge. So we can check that off real quick. And then the Mo Dreams part is just, hey, I don't want any of y'all just doing this. You got way too much potential. It's too hard on your bodies. Like, what's your next steps?
Right.
And I would say I at least 6 to 7 times a year in a meeting talk directly on that. And like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I feel that we're called as leaders to kind of steward you in the right direction to say, hey, at least ask you and to let you know, like, hey, there's more. There's a next step either with us, your own business. We've had 4 guys come to us, work with us, and then start their own lawn care business specifically. So, and we keep good relations with them. We're proud of them. And so we promote that next step type in their journey, whether it's with us or somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know about how we kind of handled things here, is that sometimes you have high performers, and if you don't push and grow almost faster than you want to, you have the feeling that you're going to lose them because they need a lot of stimulation, they need a lot of growth, and they need a lot of challenge. Do you feel that pressure a little bit with so many of them wanting to do that, that you almost got to grow a little faster, take a little more risk so that you'll have positions to put them in?
Sometimes, yeah, I feel it with Jeremy, the most. With McKeat, he's been killing it, and I
Mm-hmm.
want there to be an eventual next step beyond management or maybe with the location size.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also expressed he would like to live on the coast, and
Okay.
this is in the future, but that is one of my desired regions is
Mm-hmm.
the coast of the Carolinas and Georgia. So I would love to be able to do that for him if he is able to, profit and get his location where it wants to be. I'd love to be able to provide, his desired location,
Mm-hmm.
um, for sure.
You used to want to do a million things and jump from one thing to the next because you were so visionary. Do you feel that now that you feel this is your calling and have good direction, do you feel more settled about it and that you don't have to keep looking around for something else to throw in the mix?
Yeah, 100%. There's enough just on there's actually more than enough in the direct influence of being there for my position. Um, Everything else is just not in my world anymore. But yeah, I used to be
Mm-hmm.
very it's just entrepreneurial. I wanted to grow things. I like the excitement of from the branding to the sales, a lot of the sales,
Mm-hmm.
just all bunch of new stuff. Anything I saw, I was like, I can make a business out of that. It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
probably can, but you
Mm-hmm.
you you probably shouldn't.
Right, right. Just to focus. Yeah. So what
Yeah.
does the day to day look for you now with 3 locations, with a partner who is he's running one fully, right? And overseeing the others?
He's running one fully. He will help out here and there. I mainly handle the others as far as
Okay.
the GMs over there. But
S-
he's running a $1.6 million location, and he's in the field today. So
Wow.
he's a working GM a very large location.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty serious.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you do estimates still?
I do for the Augusta location, and then we've gotten backed up. I was earlier in the spring. I was helping uh, North Augusta. I was helping Aiken. If McKeat and Matthew were in the field a bunch, couldn't get to estimates, I would take them off their plates. So that might be a little bit of a bottleneck at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do believe though, just with our the amount of profit that we have from being in growth mode for so long, or I said the lower amount of profit, I think is necessary. We did hire Jordan. We made him an estimator. We trained him. I gave him great training, took him to conference, and we thought this year was going to unfold as him as the estimator. And I think he had all of April. He had some of March and all of April, and then he had to get back in the field in May. So
Wow.
it just got so slammed, so busy. We were operating lean this year, and
Mm-hmm.
we needed him in the field. But that was a good test because he has been in the field. He got his estimator role. He did the training, and he did not complain not once. He just
Incredible.
whatever the business needs, I'm there. And
Wow.
so yeah, so pretty amazing. But yeah, I thought I was gonna have the estimator roll off my plate this year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't, and I know I need to. But where we're at, just money wise, I believe it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want to shift gears just a little bit. Those were the few questions that I wanted to ask you just to get everybody up to speed where you are right now, what your day to day looks like and things. But we just had an event up here in Washington State. Can you tell us what that was and a little bit about it and the structure of it?
Yeah, it's called the Seven Figure Club, and so um, but yeah, it was a seven figure club out in Bellingham, and so everybody that had done $1 million in sales, I guess for 2024, was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Got invited to meet with the leadership team. So we had you, we had Mike, we had Nick, we had Lee, um, all there, and it was basically like a day of leadership with everybody at that certain level of business, in a very awesome atmosphere. It was basically like
Mm-hmm.
a wedding and venue, very intimate spot, and then we had Mike um, directly speak to us about where we are currently in the business and what our, the main takeaways were being good stewards of our three most precious items, which is our time, our resources, and our relationships.
Hmm.
So it was a full day event. We got to socialize with each other, good fellowship, good food, great food actually, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all got together and basically recharged, refocused. I know I took away some really good things that I'll be implementing. And had I not gone, I probably would have just, you know, kind of just I don't post, but just do what I was doing for the
Totally.
next what is it? We got four months left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of the year. Yeah.
And but now I'm going to refocus, and I think I'll have a better end of the year, and it'll set me up for a better next year because of what I'm about to do this week.
Yeah.
And
I know these were
it
a lot of things that Mike wasn't even sure if he was ready to share or it was uncharted territory for him, some of the stuff he was going to share for the first time ever. And so he was a little more on the nervous side about it, but he did amazing, I thought. And I was actually sharing with someone the other day that the volume of what he shared and the quality of it, the way he breaks down his day and does his 6 week sprints, it sounds like somebody would teach, but they wouldn't actually do. You know how when you're in university and you hear the teacher talk about all the mechanics of everything, but the actual living out and understanding of those concepts is a whole different story. But the fact that he actually does all of that is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It does sound like a theory.
It
Um,
does.
it's like that's a nice theory, and it's because of the pain that it's going to initially inflict. Like it's going to be
Yes.
painful. It's not going to
Yes.
be fun. None of it's going to be fun. But I felt convicted immediately when he's like, what's the number one thing? And I think several of us had it as the number one thing, is to, do the time blocking, time tracking, and then the 6 week sprints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So
don't think,
go ahead.
I don't think that people get anywhere close to where, I wouldn't say where Mike is. That's not my goal, but where Mike believes we can all be,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Um, we're not going to get there just doing exactly what we've been doing, the way we've been
Never.
doing.
Yes.
There's not enough time in the day. Like we've already exhausted that gear of let's just work more. Like,
Yes.
that's not going to do it.
It's not.
And so I'm very excited, a little apprehensive. Like today, for instance, would have been where I started the blocking, and I
Yes.
and I will. But you always have things that come up. Like my son had surgery this morning, so I didn't go into
Mm.
work as
Yeah.
normal. I got to work at like 12. And so a little bit
Yeah.
different, but I'll block the rest of the day and the rest of the week.
Yeah. So for those that are listening, Mike talked about his schedule and a 6 week sprint that he tells everybody to do. And so here's mine, and mine will start a new one on August 1st, and Mike sits at a desk right behind me. And so he has his, I have mine, and our goals and our focuses change every 6 weeks. And then we do our best to stick with it. Some things don't change really. I mean, you when you train during the day or when you get up, maybe, but the focus of what you're trying to do. I'm an operator. He is a visionary. He needs a lot of architect time. So it's a little our what we do is quite different. But that's one thing that he gave everybody was a QR code, and you could take the QR code and you could build your own schedule in Canva. Were you able to do that?
Well, I think the I could have been wrong, but the tracking of it was going to be the first. That's what I
That's
was
the
going to do
first one.
first,
Yes, yes.
and then build it after the tracking. So
Yeah,
next
that's going to be
next
tough.
yeah, it really is because I feel, and I think it shows you where some of your deficiencies are. It's like,
Yes.
okay, I've got to get this off this shouldn't be on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no need for this to be here. The only reason it's here because there's a system doesn't exist for it to be off my plate, or there's
Mm-hmm.
system failure somewhere. Um, that's just the way that goes. Like I guess estimates are fine for me to take right this second until we split off that first location from
Mm-hmm.
Augusta, and then the GMs because it was funny because I couldn't get to Aiken or North Augusta's estimates, and I'd have them to keep, build me a schedule and be like, "Hey, Brian, I got this assigned to you today," and I'd have to be like, "Man, I'm so sorry, I cannot do that." Um, and
Wow.
it hurt. I wanted to help them. I was like, "Man, I know you." They're like McKee would have 35 budgeted hours that he was doing. He'd be overextended, and I'd be like, "Man, I can't get to it," but they got done, or he reprioritized them, and so they're fine.
Yes.
Nothing broke, and so. I know they'll be fine without me as an
Yeah.
estimator. It's
Yeah.
just I've always been the estimator,
Right.
and that is it's my big strength. But it's also like, hey, it's time to pass that torch on.
Yeah, and they're very capable. Yeah. So Mike talked about investments, retirement, gave us a lot of good things that were broke down that you could easily understand, I felt. And then at the very end, he had us put our first domino or the thing that we would go home and work on first. So what were your biggest takeaways? Was there new information that you had never heard before, or was it just somebody dialing it down into a good package for you to be able to receive?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it's the same information that is out there that has been heard even at Mike's conference, even at Blue Collar Summit.
Mm-hmm.
But the atmosphere was different, and it
Mm,
felt because there's only like was there how many businesses were represented? Like
probably
15,
30.
20? Oh,
Oh,
30 actual business.
businesses. Yeah, but actual people and their businesses. I'm not sure. Maybe 20.
Okay. Yeah, and so being in that room versus a couple hundred, it felt very personal. And it
Yes.
was because then Mike gave you a deadline and hey, by the way, send me a video of whether you passed or failed on this mission. And so it's like, okay, well, now it's I'm gonna do it. And
Yes.
100, it's not a thought like, yeah, that's a good idea. It's like, no, I signed up for this. It's how it feels very personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my goal was that people who have the burden of command and they have employees and GMs and have slugged it out for all these years and finally got to their $1 million mark, that they would have a place where they could just come and just totally let off the pressure and just have a good time with people of like mind and then be able to just leave refocused and refreshed. And I hope that's what happened for everyone.
Yeah, I think there was definitely an element of that. But I think what was neat in a lot of people that I talked to, they came away with that, that refreshed, but that also that convicted of like, hey, there's still more time left on the clock. We can do some changing and some
Hmm.
refocusing that'll have a good benefit this year. Like this year's not done.
Totally. Yeah. Are you guys still in push mode like a spring rush there in Georgia or Georgia? Yeah.
Yeah, Georgia and South Carolina. Yeah,
Yeah.
Georgia and South Carolina. Yes, that the grass is growing very quickly. The heat is a massive element as far as how many budget hours you can even expect out of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that happening at the same time, it's a lot. It's very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Last week during this the retreat, the Seven Figure Club. Jeremy was also gone, and so he was gone from Saturday to Saturday.
Oh my word.
Uh,
That's crazy.
uh, yeah, and so I took his role. But the team executed great. Like there was 300 and I think almost 390 budget hours on the schedule. Um,
Wow.
and Jeremy is one of the 12. And so we had 11 people there. And that's a lot of budget hours to do.
Yes.
Uh, but everything got done. Nobody worked Saturday, so Saturday was saved. Um, and yeah, it was it it worked really well. Right, it got done.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, so back to the seven figure club. In the morning, we all met for a walk slash hike because in the past we've received feedback that everyone likes to be able to get up and move and all of that before we start sitting down and studying for the day. So, big takeaways, goals for you. What were they mainly?
as far as from the whole thing,
Yeah.
um, big goals and takeaways. I liked that we did an exercise of where do you see the business in 36 months, and
Mm,
it got decently granular, like how many trucks, the revenue, the profit, resources that you're going to need, things like that. So that was cool. I like to see that, and I like to see how my answers have changed over the years. Because it's not a new
true.
exercise.
Right.
But I've been asked that question by Augusta a lot, at least maybe once a year,
Mm-hmm.
at least a similar question. And I believe that I am much more, uh, I understand what it takes to grow, and I understand where I'm at. I need to be in heavy profit mode for those 36 months.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's, it's new to me, and but it's what we do this for. And so
Right.
I'm like, okay, I've got to do this if we're going to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big takeaway, seeing that and just realizing like I am where I wanted to be 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and I can't just jump somewhere else because I
Right.
I know a lot of people in Augusta, a lot of people that I talk with. Um, Growth is such a, and it's honestly, some some people, and not anybody that I know directly in Augusta. Some people do it for for the image or for whatever. A lot of people in the Augusta that I know, they just do it because it's inside of them. They don't know anything else. And
Yes.
I think that was where I was. And
Mm-hmm.
I've changed in that. I'm like, okay, to take better care, being a good steward of my relationships, of my resources, my people.
Yeah.
I have to put this thing into profit mode. Make sure that this region, every single one of the GMs, is well taken care of, or making. Everybody wants to make $100,000 a year from field level to GM.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to make sure that happens. And the only
Right.
way that's going to happen is to to not grow. And so that was a good takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm down with that mission. I'm on board. Like I said, the time blocking was the number one thing that first domino. I think that's going to have a big impact on my life, and I believe that Jeremy seeing me do it, he will follow behind and get and have he'll probably implement it way better than I do. But he's an operator, so
Yep. Yep.
he'll probably take that and be like, yeah, I got this. I think he will like it, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think the GMs will like it too once they see it. Um, so I think that's going to have a domino effect inside my organization. I've got to be like Mike said, like, hey, don't come back and shove this down people's throat. Do it for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of share like our one on ones. And so that was huge. Honestly, the all right, I'll give you the that.
Yes.
So your time blocking, the how big of a responsibility of being a good steward of our time and our resources and our relationships, and it starts with our time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is like the number one, because if we're good stewards with our time, then we can best allocate our resources and have the proper connection points with our relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why that time blocking, I'm like, okay, this is it, got to do that. And then how thankful I am for where we are, and how far we've come in 5 years. Like
Yeah.
just being able to be in that room with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
um, and thankful for the time that somebody. somebody like Mike, somebody like yourself, Lee, everybody took. Nick was there, and it was cool. Everyone had a significant other.
Yes.
5 years ago, they didn't,
Nope.
and so maybe Lee did. I don't know if he was married. He wasn't married.
Oh,
I don't
no,
think.
no.
Nope. And so that was cool. Um, and so that was really awesome. The When I came down there, I had a impromptu mountain bike ride with Bryan Rand.
Who is at
Wait,
Command Center?
yeah, he's at Command Center. Awesome. He provided a bike, a helmet, and a bottle of water.
What a
That
guy.
that refreshed my soul. I love the outdoors, and so that was cool. And then uh, if I had to trade all of it, the jog with the impromptu jog with Mike
I knew it.
uh, was the number one thing. It's just hanging out with him one on one was awesome.
Yeah, I told Ryan, I said, there are benefits to being consistent and being fit because Brian got the jog with Mike. And if people didn't do their jogs, they would have never got the jog with Mike.
That's right. Brian Rand was my number one cardio event this year, and Mike's was number two.
That is so
So,
awesome. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Yep. So, is that all you had to share from the event? Do you have more?
Remember the quote in my bottle? That was awesome.
What was
So
that?
we each of us had quotes, I'm sure provided by Liz,
Yes.
each one of them. And so mine said, "Forgiveness is remembering without anger."
Oh my goodness.
So
That's
that's
good.
huge.
Yeah.
And then the rock that I took home that was on my placeholder was green. And so I thought that was pretty fitting. I sat in that rock. That was pretty
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Uh,
Very cool. Good. I'm
yeah.
glad you took it home. I didn't know if anybody would, but it was done with a lot of love. So I hope it was a blessing.
My father is Jewish, and he's buried in one of the cemeteries in Augusta. And so I place rocks on his. So I'll place that rock on his tombstone. So,
Nice. That's so
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so I want to turn another corner before we wrap up, and that is your coaching with Augusta Nation. So how does one become a coach? And tell us a little bit about your experience having done that and still doing it.
You become a coach, number one, by having at least one full season, or is it two full
I think
seasons?
it's two.
Two full seasons with Augusta. And then you're each year, I believe there's a vote if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you get elected by your peers. Um, and I've been a coach. I guess is this the second year of it? I
Yeah,
believe.
for sure, because Nick couldn't do it by himself. So yeah, second year.
Yeah. And so the second year of it, it's something that I truly love to do. I feel that's one of my callings is coaching and helping others um, along the path. I guess as far as why I'm a coach or what brought people to choose me, if I had to say it, it'd be I follow the systems, and I've been successful in those systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I don't mind sharing, and I don't mind. I was I would take calls before a lot of Augusta does.
Mm-hmm.
That's really one cool thing about Augusta is if you've got an issue, we call each other a lot, and there's been nobody that I've talked to that's like, hey man, I don't have time for you.
Wow. That's phenomenal. Yeah, so just what I know from my point of view is I know that you are the one that's always there to help people and have been there so often. And I would say it's like the steadiness over the years and the consistency and what's come out of your coaching on a personal level before you became an official coach. And I believe that in the future, there's so much more for you in Augusta because you've been so generous with your time and you've helped so many people. And it's, you don't even know the ripple effect that it has really because you help one of those owners and they help someone else and it just trickles down through everyone. So it's pretty powerful.
That's pretty special to me. I'll definitely be. Hey, where would I put that on my? How would I categorize that? Because I think I was going to use just the example of just if I'm doing estimates, that's my labor, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
And then manager, if I'm doing anything scheduling related or anything like that with the customers, would that be if
You
I'm
mean
coaching? Where
you
would I
mean your
put personal
coaching?
time? Yeah, would I put like
No,
personal time?
definitely not personal time. Personal time would be when you leave work and you go run errands, you go to church, you spend time with your kids and your family, and you go to the park and that kind of thing. It's definitely probably manager
Okay.
time for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. That'll work.
Yes, so I have my operations chunk of time that I do every day. So that would be everything while I'm at command center, anything and everything. And then I walk out the door, and then there's a whole other section of what's going to happen in my day.
Okay.
So yeah, so that would be great. Yeah, just put it in there with everything else and schedule it in.
That works. Do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a certain amount of hours in a day, a chunk of time that you schedule them, or are they just all over the place?
Need to probably I left it because I'm pretty I believe I'm pretty tight. I don't do Mondays and I don't do Fridays.
Okay.
And so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And then I have a maximum of two calls. You know, they can book.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's from 8 to 4. And
Okay.
so I might tighten that up a little more.
Yeah.
I'll probably talk to Nick on that and just make sure I'm not messing anything up. But yeah, I'll probably tighten that down a little bit.
Even if you put them back to back and your manager time was 1 to 3 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that would yeah, coaching manager time 1 to 3,
Yeah.
that'd be fine.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's just part of the whole package and part of what you do. It's so huge. It's so appreciated. Yeah. Is there anything you want to share as we wrap up today with everybody in Augusta or not in Augusta also?
Sure. I over the years through growing, I used to have I guess I might have had a chip on my shoulder at first, and that propelled me through a lot of energy expelled. And then I had this just inside of me to grow at all costs.
Hmm.
Uh, it wasn't very focused, so I didn't get that far. And then I got a little bit more focused, but I still wanted to grow so fast. I looking back on it, and for those of us that are growing, Augusta has these stages of profitability,
Mm-hmm.
places that you can kind of sit, get to a level, profit, jump up to a level, profit. I would have sat more in the profit zones longer, and I think I still would have gotten to the same place. Maybe about even if it was a year or two after, I would have had a lot more money in my pocket, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't think you're really not going to shortcut the journey. But you can make steps to make that journey a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more fruitful along the way. So
Hmm.
that's kind of my, looking back, looking
Yeah.
forward. I don't think I could have been told that unless Mike was directly in my life and coaching me. That would have,
Yeah.
then I would have done whatever. But I didn't have that, so
Wow, that's really powerful. Well, I appreciate you sharing that too. That's pretty great. And people that don't know, you have a family, you have little kids, and a wife that has her own business. And so the your success is really having a rippling effect on a lot of people. And it's pretty amazing. So I appreciate your time today. I know you guys are right in the middle of spring rush, but it helps so many people when you share. And so I appreciate you coming back on again today.
it's a pleasure, Liz.
All
Thank you so
right.
much.
You have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye bye.